Well, here it is. Negotiations with President Spolak. Let's see if we can get it. We might not be able to. My eyes remained locked on an enormous airship moored at the blimp base on the outskirts of the presidential palace of Wayland's capital. Its sleek form dominated the skyline. That's pretty cool. I like airships and stuff like that. Standing before it, I absorbed the sight of President Spolak's imposing image, prominently displayed on its side, along with a flag of Wayland and a bold proclamation of Wayland's rise to prominence. With Molak at the helm, Wayland soars to new heights. Oh, this guy's... He has some style, you know what I mean? Some class. Our agreement's 3-year probationary period had come to an end. It's finally time to discuss the return of Zeal. However, my host was nowhere in sight. Flanked by golden guardsmen, I eventually made my way up the red carpet stretching from the motorcade to the airship's gondola. Past a dozen or so young women in impeccably pressed uniforms. That's very Gaddafi of you. The interior of the ship was adorned with lavish blue and white drapes, cascading from floor to ceiling windows. Plush magenta seats lined the cabin, each embellished with an opulent tassel and cushions embroidered with a Wayland crest. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, casting a dazzling array of light across the space. The gondola cabin practically screamed access to the point of absurdity. And there, standing amongst it all, was the man of the hour, Victor Smolak. "Welcome aboard, Your Majesty. So glad you could join me." It was then I noticed he was carrying a baby. He couldn't be more than a year old. What? And who is this little mister? Looks like even the presidents have to do multitask these days. Future leader in training. And who is this little mister? This will be my son, Victor Smolak II. After 11 daughters, courtesy of my 8 wives, all of whom I'm still married to, I finally have a boy. Wow. We're having a father-son weekend. Oh, isn't that splendid? How heartwarming. Let's talk about Zeal. I hope to have a son of my own someday. Impressive airship you have here. Interesting, I never took you for a family man. I hope to have a son of my own someday. Never too late, Your Majesty, not for men like us. Then I felt the airship begin its ascent. I looked out of the window at the sprawling capital city beneath us. It became smaller and smaller. Looks like that's our cue to get this meeting started. Well, shall we get to it then? Whenever you're ready. Well, shall we get to it then? What's the rush? We got plenty of time to talk. We've got a long flight ahead of us. By all means, relax and enjoy yourself. We'll be back later once I spend some quality time with the kid. Several hours later, I woke up to the sight. It's you spelled that wrong. Of a vast expanse of ocean peering over the horizon. I had fallen asleep in one of the lounge chairs on the observation deck. Hope you had a good rest, Your Majesty. Turned to see Smolak standing over me. Little Victor was in his arms. Did you care for a drink? We've got everything. Thanks, but I'm good. Never take a drink from Victor Smolak. We should get straight to the point. Come with me. In a way to a private room where drinks were already waiting for us. Even the baby had a bottle waiting for him. Ooh, high roller. We took our seats in front of the window with a view just as fantastic as before. To traveling in style. Cheers. Smolak and I clinked glasses. Before taking a drink, I reached over and tapped my glass to the baby's milk bottle, sting a roaring laugh from Smolak. Very good, Your Majesty. It's refreshing to see a world leader who doesn't take himself seriously. I'm gonna invite Prime Minister Alvarez here, but he paid more attention to the liquor than the view. And Queen Beatrice? Ha, forget about it. As if they don't want to be friends, not like us. See, I told you. You can make friends with Smolak, and if you make friends with Smolak, then he'll do what you need. You just need to show him what he thinks he needs in terms of respect. Let's see, wow, I can't just say yes, of course. Let's see, I suppose it depends on how you define friendship. Is that what we are, friends? Let's go with that one, that sounds a little bit softer. I like to think so. Our two nations have long been there for each other in the past. I see no reason why we can't continue that partnership now and in the years to come, which is why we're here, so let's get into it. Smolak sipped his drink before pulling out a cocktail napkin from his jacket pocket. I could see some vague scribblings on it. If you remember, we signed an agreement regarding the conditions of Rizia, return to Rizia. He left a napkin where I could make out a list of terms for our amended treaty. She told me to not determine the fate of millions via a cocktail napkin. How could I forget? I seem to remember it being longer, dozens of pages longer, in fact. How could I forget? Oh, I never remember anything I signed. In fact, I'm going to fill you in on a secret. I don't read any of the bills or treaties I put my name on. I have a whole department whose job it is to handle that. I prefer the annotated version. Direct and to the point. Yeah, he's a real moron, this guy. We get his napkin around once more. During a conversation with Zeal, well then allow me to be directly to the point. I came here to ensure Rizia's rightful claim to Zeal is upheld in all territory currently occupied by Wayland's forces from returned. Hope this hasn't been a waste of time. Can we get back on track? I feel we're moving in the wrong direction. Let's be polite. You've been polite so far. You get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. Smolak's expression turned cold. Okay, well, I'll be the judge of that, he says. With more attention, he quickly subsided with the flash of the president's trademark smile. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. His attention returned to his napkin. We need an agreement, Your Majesty. I believe both of us remember the terms. We're not going to say this. Let's get to the trade. Yes, I do. There's a security component. Indeed, we made a trade deal. Yes, there was a security component. Indeed, there was, he says. Reading the handwriting correctly, it says here. Usual to grant the, granted Bludish safe haven and Rizia's grant helped us catch many a terrorist. Maybe not terrorist, really. Want to help? Thank you for your country's cooperation in our Operation Bear Trap. While your assistance has somewhat hindered their operations, I'm sorry to say the overall situation will unchanged since Rizia's involvement. But that's not your fault, Your Majesty. Smack looked at his cocktail napkin. Now, as far as for our agreement's other terms, according to my notes, my people are very grateful for your generous wine shipments. He raised his glass. Cantuavo, I thought I recognized it. Romus the Red, in your honor, of course. Classy guy. You also promised to provide us with military equipment, however we're getting hardly any at all. I hear your stockpiles are running low? Well, that's true. It's not good for either of us, is it? Anyway, without getting further into the nitty-gritty of all goods being exchanged across the borders, that covers the main points I wanted to address regarding trade. By the way, I've heard nothing but gratitude from the expatriates of my country working Rizia. You've really taken it upon yourself to better their situation. So that's it for the treaty. Hope you understand my doubts about Rizia's reliability as a trade partner. Really? Just over the fucking military goods? I apologize, President. I did the best I could. This means you're withholding Zeal. Promise your reservation is mistaken. I will meet any conditions you have for Rizia in the future. Wait, Your Majesty. The treaty is not the only factor at play. It seems you are finally coming to your senses regarding your one-sided relationship with Rumberg. Probably been disappointed you kept your Enter-Wizard cousin in power all this time. Not only that, but you're marrying your daughter. I knew you royals had crazy traditions, but that's absolutely wild. I need to think about this for a second. He finished his drink very slowly. So where does this leave us? So what do you say? Does Rizia meet your criteria for friendship? Tell me then, do we have a deal? Any more napkins we should know about? Let's say, does Rizia meet your criteria for friendship? Let's try and say we're friends. Well, as far as friendship goes, Smoke abruptly halted mid-sentence, seemingly captivated by the view outside the window. He stood up and approached the glass. Turning to see what had caught his attention, my gaze caught the rays of setting sun traveling across the open body of water, illuminating an all too familiar city on a distant shore. Your Majesty, may I present Zeal? You always want theatrics, I'm impressed. Yes, I'm well aware of what I'm looking at. I must say, you've outdone yourself this time, Smolak. The view is absolutely stunning. Driving all this way out here for this? Smolak, the view is absolutely astounding. Or stunning, whatever. That's putting it lightly. Smolak and I continue to gaze at the view in silence. I must say, the sight of Zeal takes my breath away every time I see it. Let's hope it does for you, too. Get a good look, Your Majesty, because I'm sorry to say you won't get many opportunities to do so in the future, really. Oh, you fucking... I'm about ready to drop a nasty word. Okay, so you're saying you're going to extend the threat mitigation protocol indefinitely just over military surplus goods, basically? Not yet fully confident in your king's ability to govern this province the way I've come to know and love. Wish I could help you, but a deal's a deal. I have a reputation to uphold. Okay, so you're a fucking... Well... I present my case for referendum on Zeal to the Alliance of Nations. Some of our compatriots still have respect for the democratic process, you see. Under the consider Zeal return on hold. Very well. Well, that's the last time I mean, jeez. Well, I thought I could trust him. That was obviously fucking dumb. Embracing the surge in wine exports. So, this has achieved The wine industry has achieved a more remarkable milestone of quadrupling of its exports. This surge in viticulture exports signifies Rizia's growing prominence in the global market, offering an opportunity to further promote and capitalize on our renowned vintage. This decision to embrace this success can enhance our budget and solidify our reputation as a producer of fine wines. Rizia's viticulture will travel the world, or other nations enjoy our vintage as much as we do. Okay, so there's no difference, basically. It's same thing. Oh, record harvest. Harvest. And we have the Republic of Fruit. Let me see the news first. Diplomatic standstill. Well, if we can't get it back peacefully, I am going to... I don't have enough military stuff, really. Stupid. Royal convoy finally arrived at the entrance to the Alliance of Nations headquarters in Constantium. I looked around, none of the other leaders of the prestige nor grandiose of our convoy. I felt good about the day. I smiled before jumping into the den of the wolves. After the usual greetings, we moved to a welcome hall with Lorento to take our seats. I leaned over to my ear. Here we go, Your Majesty. Confident. President Nines, or Nines, or whatever the hell his name is. Yorkers followed. Very well. Morton Van Horten, the Prime Minister of Agnolia, is summoned to the stage. Thank you, President Inez. Good morning. It's an honor to see you all in this chamber. The Alliance of Nations and its important of the world is paramount to peace. It is the sole organization that can bring us together to discuss. And not just discuss, but solve issues we face together. Okay, this is great. Thus I bring to this session the issue of my country Agnolia faces to ask you for fairness and justice. The island. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Farewell. Here we go. Our people on this island are currently living under the long shadow cast by Valgus land. Their territorial ambitions know no bounds and no end over this territory that they claim unlawfully as theirs. The island is a vital piece of our heritage that they are trying to take away from us by force. I pose you this question. What would you have done if it was your own? Our eyes randomly met before he turned his gaze. The place where your great-grandfather was born in, where your father was born in. Would you not defend it? Would you not protect it with your life? He has a point. He speaks the truth. Agnolia has no chance. Even your point is not enough. There is more at play here. He does speak the truth, that is for sure. Proud and brave man, I have to give him that. Peace in East Marcopa, oh boy. Helgel land has to be recognized as Agnolian. Don't forget, it will be us first and then others will follow. I ask you to do the right thing. Thank you. I could see that Emmerich Hegel had a smirk on his face. He seemed confident. The President declared voting to begin in this matter. Nay, says Jorga. Aye, says Alvarez. Abstain, says Dwight Walker. Obviously he says aye. Anton Rain says no. Axel Reinhardt says no. Sultana says no. Livingston says no. Everyone's saying no. Oh yes. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one. Smolek says no. No. He shook his head in disbelief. His shoulders dropped. Who knew what it felt like to be in that situation, at that moment? Wento stood up to leave to catch a minister he wanted to talk to. I enjoyed the Crudian circular pastry with sesame seeds, the one named Rekgev. It was handed out as a snack when I waited for the session to continue. Mr. Smolak, President of Whaling, got up from his seat to speak. He held his arms up in the air and shouted, "Alliance of Nations, hear me!" Can't help making a dramatic entrance, can he? I come to you today with dire news from our southeastern border. Rizia's continued demand for the transfer of Zeal back to its territory. Under Wayland, the Zealians have enjoyed democratic freedoms that they would never experience before. To lose those freedoms by joining a monarchy, nobody wants that. Wouldn't you? I wouldn't. I've heard representatives from Zeal, personally I might add, that they were clear on their request. They asked good old Victor to help them out, and I promised that I would. Zeal wants to remain part of Wayland. The will of the people is paramount in democracy. Can promise, although you might not know that. Democratic referendum will take place in Zeal so that the people themselves can decide whom they will align. I'm gonna let them keep talking or whatever. I I myself personally presented with the idea of a referendum and concluded that he did not take the amended agreement seriously. He must spat in my face. What do you expect from a monarch? But Rizia has not sat idly by in the years since the Friendship Day attack. King Ramos is knowingly, intentionally sowing dissent among the population of Zeal. Okay, so that's going to happen anyway. No matter what happens. There are big games being played with Wayland. Everyone is against us. Rizia made no serious investigation to the Friendship Day bombing. To this day, no culprit has been found. Why? Because the attack was masterminded by Rizia itself. Okay. Okay, that's great. It's given several minutes to defend Rizia's position. I made my way to the podium. Esteemed members of the Alliance of Nations, I'd like to talk about the agreement that my father and President Smollett predecessors signed all those years ago. President Smollett demeans others with ease. But let's just talk about what he himself has done. Can't help but respond to President Smollett's claims about what the people of Zeal do and do not want. I won't even indulge President Smollett's hallucinations about what's happening or not. I want to talk about this referendum. The only one that seems any good is the talking about the predecessor. In it, the territory of Zeal was given to Wayland for 25 years, not a day longer. Once the agreement expired, Wayland had no legal basis which was entitled to hold the rights of Zeal. When circumstances were altered by the Friendship Day bombing, I gladly signed an extension to that agreement. President Smollett did not even honor that. It's long past time for Zeal to return safely home. Zeal is Rizian, not Wesek. Holding rights to a territory temporarily doesn't make you own it. Ask you this, what kind of world would it be if everyone went about making and breaking agreements with no consequences? Yes, my past actions are kind of boxing me in here. I can't do number 3. Bottom one, because after all, I did maybe cause a bit of a diplomatic crisis with Palace. So it might look a little bit bad. Zeal is Rizzi, not Wesek, holding rights to territory temporarily. I don't want to anger Vargas Land with that one. It's a long past time that Zeal has returned safely home. Zeal is safely returned home, rather. What kind of world would this be if everyone were about making and breaking agreements with no consequences? It's been the number one priority of my reign so far. If there's one resource that we Rizians have in abundance, it is honor. I have a personal connection to Zeal and his people. I know they will back me in this. It has been my number one priority of my reign thus far. I'll not let Victor Smollett hold my province hostage no matter what. Supporting this referendum would make a mockery of a legitimate, binding treaty between nations. President Smollett thinks he can get his way by bullying the region. He is wrong. He's making a mockery of a legitimate, binding treaty between nations. President Smollett demeans others with such ease, but let's talk about what he himself has done. Can I help but respond to President Smollett's claims about what the people of Zeal do and do not want? Let's talk about what he himself has done. He bullies everyone again around him. We're not even going to mention the Brutish terrorists or whatever. He bullies everyone he can around him. Even his allies are not safe from his wrath. Which is true. What about any Brutish village? No. Ask any Wessex citizen who's not being held at gunpoint by this man. Just turn on your television, open a newspaper, and you see evidence of some misdeeds. His distasteful attempts at humor and are affront to all of us who possess the gift of wit. No, I don't care about that. How can he be trusted? As shown by his behavior here, I'll give you an answer. He can't. Wayland has been victimized in the past, it's true, but doesn't give Smollett free reign to become an oppressor. He's a dishonest, undignified, disreputable buffoon. How can he be trusted? As shown by his behavior here, I'll give you the answer. He can't. Yes, let's try and focus on making him look totally and completely untrustworthy. Do you want this man to dictate what happens to Zeal? I say to you this, to you, the people of Zeal will not suffer the same fate as minorities in his own country do. You can't really say that with what we're doing. I'll not let this caricature of a man take control of my mother's birthplace. Do you want this man to dictate what happens to Zeal? Let's talk about now what the people of Zeal do and do not want. My mother was born in Zeal. I know the region better than Victor Smollett or anyone else in this room. So I say this to him: do not try to lecture us about our values. It is not the Rizia monarchy that is a threat to the Rizia people. It is Wayland. I have a hard time believing the alliance of nations would take the words of this lunatic seriously. Only a madman would believe the Zealands long for the shame of democracy rather than embrace their one true monarch. Let's not make it too political in that respect, because not everybody's a monarchy. In fact, I think the monarchs are a dying breed, as it were. It's not the Rizia monarchy that is a threat to the Zeal people. It's Wayland. I don't want to necessarily make it like an ethnic thing. I have a hard time believing the alliance of nations would seriously take the words of a lunatic this seriously. I've said enough about Wayland and its games President Smolak is playing. I want to talk about this referendum. This referendum is a completely bogus attempt by Wayland to gain control of more territory. This referendum is instigated by President Smolak himself, not the people of Zeal. The referendum is completely illegal, unjust, and is out of line with our previous agreements. Yes. It is illegal, unjust, and out of line. Should and will never come to pass. Even if it is allowed to occur, the result should not be recognized by any state that is a member of this alliance. Knowing the way that Wayland's so-called democracy is run, there's no way their government will respect the actual will of the people. Even if it's allowed to occur, the result should not be recognized by any state that is a member of this alliance. We're not really an alliance here, this is like the UN equivalent, but... I want you to put yourself in Rizia's shoes. What would you do if someone is trying to steal your land? I trust the Alliance of Nations will make the right call in this matter. Rizia will not remain silent against the threats of Wesek territorial ambitions. I want you to put yourself in Rizia's shoes. What would you do if someone was trying to steal your land? I'm warning President Smolak if he makes a single move to present the return of Zeal, we will respond. I can't really say that given I gave up on Palace. No matter what happens, I know Rizia will come out on top. I have complete faith. If we abide by the rule of law, what must be done is clear. Zeal must be returned to Rizia as per the agreement. Let's try and focus on the legal basis. Maybe that'll work. If not, I don't know what to do. I ask for your votes to send Alliance of Nations peacekeepers to Zeal to stop this illegal referendum. With or without the help of Alliance of Nations, we'll defend our territory. You can be sure of that. International cooperation. Yay. The audience applauded as I stepped down from the podium. I went back to my seat next to Lorento. Very good speech, Your Majesty. Thank you. Do you think I convinced anyone? We're about to find out. Here we go. Okay, so the floor is opened and each leader has a vote. Joga says yes. Alvarez says abstain. Dwight says abstain. Martin says abstain. Anton Rain says nay. He says yes. Alma says abstain. This says no. No, abstain. Okay, so basically aye. So basically that's equal. Fucking Christ, this game's... oh my god. Ridiculous. Entire Alliance of Nations appears to be stacked against us. Really? Okay, let me read who... I can't even go all the way back up. Okay. Can I? No, I can't. Does look like it. Deficit from low global energy prices. Why? -3. You can complain. Whatever, I have enough cash. Ridiculousness. Lunchtime. Lunchtime. Think I'm gonna have a panic attack? Took a final sip of my soup, wiped my mouth, and got up to greet the person who dared disturb me. Titus hurried in the room and bowed. Sorry to disrupt you, sir. What now? What do you need? He looked around and gestured at Pavel. Within the palace walls of yours, sir, if you wouldn't mind. Out, now. Pavel bowed respectively and left the room. My investigation into the Grand Wiseman is concluded. As it turns out, your suspicions about him are correct. I have now got concrete proof that he's behind the poisoning of your late father. Okay, I honestly, like, it feels like it's so long ago, who even cares? Honestly. Go on. I suggested many of his priests to interrogation readily and proved impossible to elicit any useful information from them. His Despite our best efforts, they remained uncooperative and silent, even to a captain of the Golden Guard. Much to our relief, a boy working under one of the priests opened up and gave us a break we desperately needed. He led us to this, sir. It belongs to the Grand Wise Man. Pulled out an evidence bag that contained what looks like a small bottle. Toxicologists identified the liquid to be a lethal poison called M-Man. Joel to read the name from the label and squint in his eyes. Mandra. Go. Okay, whatever. Apparently it's made from a plant. Very careful about how you handle it, Majesty. We wouldn't want you to share the same fate as your father. He handed me a small brown bottle. Had a little bit of the liquid left in it. I wondered to myself whether this was somehow related to the holy wine Sal drank in my consecration ceremony. Where did you find this bottle? How can you be sure it belongs to him? Who is this boy? What is the boy's name? How does the poison work? Enough. Can you bring Grand Wiseman in for questioning? Where'd you find the bottle? The boy took us to a secret chamber within the capital's our sanctuary, where Sal seemingly utilized as a study. It was a dark, damp place, and old, very old. The bottle was discovered in a drawer. How could he be sure it belongs to him? We stumbled upon some of Sal's personal belongings in the same location where we discovered the bottle. Who was the boy who told you about this? He was an orphan taken years ago, was trained to become a priest. Initially reluctant to disclose anything, he eventually acquiesced when we stressed the severity of a life or death situation. Naturally, he is unaware what the substance is or how it was used. What's the boy's name? Alfretha Tilda. It's a hell of a name. How does the poison work? Causing powerful hallucinations in even very small doses. On the other hand, consuming the wrong amount can be fatal. That's all I wanted to know. Printed a sheet of paper, looked quite old. Take it and read it. There were dates and short descriptions underneath. First entry? 16th of October, late afternoon. Valero agreed to go through the trials that I proposed. I fear what may come, yet I remain steadfast in the knowledge that a prophesied king will eventually return. While he exhibits signs of joy and laughter, it appears that the dosage is insufficient. I will augment it. Read the second. 24th of October, sunset. I cannot believe that the king has entrusted me with his sacred task. Sometimes I think that I'll take his faith from me, that I take his faith from me. Granted. We'll see if he's the one. I pray this is true. I must up the dosage further. We're getting closer. Read the third entry. So basically, he's choking my father. 1st of November, close to midnight. He is having convulsions, and his dosage may be too high, but we are close, so close. Everything depends on this now. I will administer the final dose on the 18th. Oh God, I pray for you for a successful outcome. 4th. 18th of November, 2 minutes to midnight. Something dark is lurking. I can see the shadows engulf us. You have been cursed. I gave the final dose to the king. He whispered her name before I left the chambers. Still echoes in my head. Sal, look after Ramis. Valero is weak. He's not the chosen one. We have failed. Perhaps his son. Time will tell. Hand over the note. Your orders, sir? What do you think I should do? I believe that she should be arrested for treason against the crown, of course. Bring him to me. I will talk to him first. Several hours later, Titus arrived with a few guards along with my esteemed guest. He brought him to you as instructed. Guards held Sal by both arms. His head was leaning forward. Everyone except for Sal out. Speak to him privately or keep him close in case he tries anything. Maybe that's a good idea. He did poison my father, after all. Guards held his arms tighter. He didn't dare look me in the eyes. Why did you do it? Why should I spare you? What is this chosen one business? Are you sorry for what you've done? Do you repent your sins? Here's my verdict. What is this chosen one nonsense? This has been passed down for centuries, your majesty. I shall recite it for you. Beneath the watchful gaze of the ancients upon the hallowed altar, the king will partake in the sacred draught, its composition known only to the cloistered few. As the elixir courses through his veins, the world around him shall dissolve, giving way to a realm of shifting shadows and luminous figures. In this otherworldly expanse, the whispers of the ancients will foretell the trials and triumphs of this reign. And the ethereal... Oh boy. That's a lot of words. Amidst the ethereal void, a silhouette will emerge. Boy, born of his lineage, reaching out for a crown that dances like a flame. Its form blurring the lines between now and what is yet to come. Symbol of the legacy shrouded in the mists of destiny. Sounds like a lot of bullshit if you ask me, if Dave call yourself a priest. Why did you do it? Because I believed in Valero, your father. That he was the one that prophesied king, and yet... as did he, yet it was not. Out of your mind. Do you repent? Every day I try. Valero was kind and a friend, your majesty. One of the few I could call upon, yet he was weak. I am sorry for what transpired, but time had come. Because of you. Why should I spare you? Do what you must, Ramus I. I am a humble servant of God, and he alone knows my path. Was it God's command for you to kill your king, Kingslayer? I finished with his interrogation. Here's my verdict. Arrest him immediately. I don't care what he has done. You're not going to mention words to anyone. Sal walks free. Well, he poisoned. It's just too much. You're going to have to get arrested. The guards forcibly escorted Sal away. Titus bowed before leaving. Path chosen for us will prevail, Ramus. Can't fight your fate. Mark my words. I sat back down at the table. I looked down at the bottle right next to the bowl of soup. I couldn't possibly finish eating after the taste of this conversation had left my mouth. What a mess. Grand Wiseman Ignatius poisoned King Valero. Global energy prices lowest in years. AN allows Zeal referendum to proceed. AN votes against recognizing that thing as Ignolian. Well, what fun. Even the committee is not founded. Responsibility for wedding coordination would fall to the members of the royal household. Just fund the committee, please. Nighttime at the palace, okay. What's this? Rufus Granville gossip, no spend spared for the wedding. We got enough cash. We're good. For now, anyway. I will be right back.